program. One is left to wonder why it's taking 3 years since the agreement was signed to start the work on such an urgent project. But what of pipe water to the rest of Jamaica? And what of plans to secure our natural water resources across Jamaica in an era of intensifying climate change? The last, I move to roads. Project Spark is an effort to start addressing this problem. But we have serious doubts as to the approach that's being taken, given our negative experience with the constituency allocation for roads in 2022, which many MPs have reported are still yet to come through. The last PNP administration established a secretariat for JEEP with the technical personnel to efficiently drive the infrastructure projects executed under that program and to ensure proper accountability for the expenditure under the program, which was a great success. We commend that model to the government so that we don't want Project Spark to burn out without achieving significant improvement to the minor road network. Mr. Speaker, I move to health and wellness. There are several green papers, audits, and reviews within the Ministry of Health and Wellness that clearly outline the dilapidated state of the public health system. Even without resorting to these sources, there is a travel advisory issued by the U.S. State Department advising of the poor state of our hospitals and the prohibitive costs associated with accessing private health care. And this is borne out by the constant cries of the users of the public health system and the frustration of the healthcare providers themselves, often manifested in industrial unrest and protests. And even now there are murmurings of unrest in some sectors of the health service. One therefore has to wonder what guides the priorities for expenditure in the annual budget for the Ministry of Health and Wellness. With a capital budget of $11 billion, nearly twice that of education, one would expect clear efforts to decrease inefficiencies, to improve the overall experience of accessing the public health system, and to address the major health threats affecting Jamaicans. However, these major threats of chronic non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and cancer have been, to an extent, sidelined in favor of massive spend on infrastructure concentrated in 3 hospitals. The massive cost overrun in the Cornwall Regional Hospital will go down as the greatest project cost variation in the history of Jamaica at a staggering 1,100%. Never before has any Jamaican alive or dead seen a project move from an estimated cost to completion of less than $2 billion and end up costing more than 10 times that amount at over $20 billion. And this figure is expected to rise further as the completion date is pushed farther away. The only person who predicted it accurately was Maurice Guy, the member for Central St. Mary. It is telling that no one has been held accountable for this debacle. The Minister of Health has been bemoaning the lack of local expertise in hospital construction, but he's nevertheless decided to begin the construction of 2 new facilities at UHWI and Spanish Town. We wonder what the logic is behind that when the English-speaking Caribbean's largest community of Portmore still doesn't have a public hospital. And when the Western region is still struggling without a fully operational Cornwall Regional Hospital. And when the major parishes are without a facility that has basic diagnostic equipment. And in major urban areas, there's an economically unsound reliance on using private facilities for public patients, transported in scarcely available ambulances. With this budget, users of the public health system will continue to suffer from prolonged waiting times, overcrowded emergency rooms, inadequate hospital beds, and overworked and demotivated staff who can't wait for the next recruiter for a way out. Like the census, immunization rates are well below targets, and the maternal mortality rate is at its highest level in over 50 years. The maternal mortality rate in Jamaica It's at the highest levels in over 50 years. No budgetary changes to deal with these problems. Mr. Speaker, something is wrong here. I move to housing, land, and sustainable living. Land and shelter remain important national priorities. On the minds of hardworking Jamaicans is a question: will they ever be able to enjoy the security of being able to own a piece of land or a house? Using data from the 2022 Voluntary National Review Report of the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs, we know that in 2019, over 100,000 fewer Jamaicans rented or lived in their own home than in 2007. 100,000 fewer Jamaicans. 30% of households were either living rent-free with the owner's consent, what Jamaicans would call cotching, or they were occupying premises without the legal owner's consent. That represented an increase of 10 percentage points over the preceding decade. If you live in a major urban center, you are most concerned about the fact that the price of housing built under this JLP government is out of reach for most people. Shelter is one of the basic needs of our people. In the Jamaican historical and socio-economic context, it requires a proactive policy by the state to provide affordable housing for our people. The People's National Party understands this. It is what motivated us to develop Portmore, the largest residential community in the English-speaking Caribbean, and so many other major schemes: Harbourview, Mona Heights, Frontier Heights, and a plethora of other housing developments across the island. It is why, in 1976, the Most Honourable Michael Manley established a National Housing Trust to provide affordable housing for Jamaicans. It is why the Most Honourable P.J. Patterson in the 1990s established a program called Operation Pride to provide land and housing for citizens, which, despite its challenges, delivered over 50,000 titled lots for people in Pines of Karachi, Mount Edgecombe, Melrose Mews, Bedworth Gardens, Bel Air, and a host of other communities. And similarly, the Most Honourable Portia Simpson Miller embarked on an initiative to remove barracks housing and provide houses for sugar workers to live in dignity. In stark contrast, this government has built a mere 200 social houses, one dege since 2016, a paltry average of 25 housing units per year. And it presided over the demolition of poor people's houses in Clifton and St. Catherine, and sought to evict 65 settled families from their homes in the widest Vale. In truth and in fact, the cost of housing is out of reach to ordinary Jamaicans, with a two-bedroom unit on the market costing over $20 million, while the NHT only provides up to $9 million to a contributor to purchase a home. The NHT has been financially weakened by the government's continued extraction of $11.4 billion every year to finance the budget of the government since 2016. After the 2013 to 2016 IMF program ended, we had put that in place for 4 years when we had a mountain of debt to get Jamaica out of, and we had a very high primary surplus target. It was never supposed to be extended. The recent decision to require NHT contributors earning over $31,000 a week to borrow from private financial institutions flows from that extraction of resources for so many years now since this government came to power. And whereas contributors to NHT have been charged interest rates of 5% by the NHT, private financial institutions are charging around 9% now, and the NHT is having to subsidize those private financial institutions for the difference in those rates. And that's going to further weaken the institution. Jamaica needs change, and we are on the road to change. We recognize that the police, the soldiers, the teachers, the nurses, civil servants, young professionals need access to affordable housing. So that must be the road to change. And some of our proposals include: we will repurpose the NHT to ensure that it focuses on the building of affordable housing. We will end the extraction of $11.4 billion a year from the NHT for the government's budget and put this money into building affordable houses for our people. We will provide targeted and well-designed incentives for developers to get into the construction of affordable housing so that more of our population can afford to acquire a home using their NHT benefits. And we will complete the unfinished Operation Pride schemes so that the residents enjoy the full benefits of what was started for them. And we will launch a new program based on a similar concept, but with a robust and transparent accountability structure to tackle the deep problem of informal settlements across Jamaica and bring dignified housing in organized communities to our citizens. Mr. Speaker, I move to the issue of good governance because it is the second pillar of the road to change, good governance. When it comes to governance, one thing is certain. Things cannot be allowed to remain the way they are now. That is why I have identified an entire cluster of portfolios within our own governance structure to address the now desperate area of transparency and accountable governance. And this is where change is truly required. I move to the focus on social justice first. A robust social justice agenda is necessary for achieving high levels of inclusive, sustainable economic growth. If Jamaica is to become a socially cohesive society that moves away from negative behaviors and attitudes that undermine our mission to achieve national greatness. Deepening social justice is an important part of this objective, and I'm going to give you some of our proposals. We will implement a progressive beach access policy to ensure that the public has reasonable access to Jamaica's beaches, as is done in other Caribbean islands that also enjoy a strong tourism industry. Beach access is important for our people's recreation and leisure in a stressful world. This is no small thing, given the levels of violence and stress in this society. We will work with all stakeholders, including communities which have historically used beaches for recreation and fishing, and also tourism interests, to secure appropriate rights of access for the public to be able to enjoy our beaches. And if necessary, we will use legislation to protect the public's interest in having reasonable beach access while protecting the legitimate commercial interests of business owners. This is not an issue which the state can just stand back and leave as is. Time come. While we endorse the raising of the threshold for the income tax on pensions, the truth is that our pensioners are really struggling and much more is needed to be done for them. Administrative changes to facilitate the speedy commencement of pension payments to retired employees is impatient of debate. They have to wait for extended periods before they can start getting their pension. And we have other creative proposals for expanding pension benefits to relieve the suffering of our pensioners, which I will share on another occasion. We will complete the outstanding review of the Domestic Violence Act and move quickly to implement the recommendations arising from that review. And our intention is to establish support centers in every parish to provide safe havens for survivors of domestic violence and other gender-based violence. We will enact legislation to empower the public defender to bring legal proceedings, which he can't currently do, to defend the rights of vulnerable Jamaicans, and expand the scope of the Office of the Public Defender to become a national human rights institution to monitor and report on Jamaica's performance in respecting the rights of our citizens. That institution, I had done all the preparatory work for that as Minister of Justice. 8 years later, nothing has happened. We will complete the long outstanding process of enacting legislation to enable Jamaica to accede to the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, which is a missing element in the current accountability framework. I had started that process as well. I don't hear nothing about it. We need to have accountability for the most dire forms of crime that leaders can commit. We will expand the legal aid system in partnership with the legal profession to include constitutional civil matters, so people can get help to access their rights in important areas of their lives, including property matters, estate matters, personal injury cases, and employment matters. We will support the MSMEs, micro, small, medium-sized enterprises, and startups, so that formalizing their businesses is attractive, welcoming, and easy. Absolutely. We have a model for special economic zones of incentives. What about the SME sector? Why shouldn't they get a similar ecosystem of benefits to encourage people to formalize and start businesses? We will do that. We will enact legislation to require the banks to provide a minimum suite of basic financial services to customers without charging fees. And that their cost of doing that will be treated as part of the annual cost of having the privilege of operating a bank and their licensing. And we will enforce minimum service standards to ensure that customers have ready access to ATMs to withdraw and deposit money, especially in underserved areas where banks have been closing branches. Time come to protect our people who are not being served adequately by the banking sector. And we will use the legislation governing ganja to create a special ecosystem for the Rastafari community. And we want to economically empower the Rastafari community, and that is a matter close to my heart as the architect of the PNP's 2015 decriminalization of ganja. There are provisions in the law for regulations to be made to achieve that, and they're not being used. Making change through social justice leads to a serious reconsideration of Jamaica's current place and standing in the world. Mr. Speaker, our international policy position centers on the principle of being good neighbors to all while maintaining our sovereignty and independence. That guides our relationship with the global family of nations. We steadfastly maintain the right to exercise independent judgment and make independent decisions based on the principles that we embrace. We will continue to work towards strengthening our relationships with the global south, even as we maintain long-standing relationships with our traditional partners. Our trade with the African continent and its large and rapidly expanding economies remains very modest. The top 5 economies in terms of growth are South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Algeria, and Ethiopia. And we have long historical connections with the fast-growing economies of Ghana and Sierra Leone. There are therefore tremendous opportunities for us to build out new trade and investment linkages with Africa. Jamaica needs to stop dithering and ratify the historic $1.5 billion agreement between CARICOM and the African Exim Bank. And we are committed regionalists, so the dire situation in our close neighbor Haiti is of great concern to us. We commit ourselves fully to engagement in the regional efforts associated with that crisis and to reasserting Jamaica's constructive leadership role within CARICOM that has been allowed to atrophy over the past 8 years. A progressive, principled foreign policy delivers real positive change for our people. The Petro-Caribe oil financing arrangement and the San Jose Accord, which financed Portmore, are striking examples of what a progressive, principled foreign policy has done for our people in the past under the People's National Party. And that is what we are committed to locally and globally. Mr. Speaker, change at the national level must focus on good governance. In this modern era of pervasive information sharing and communications, good governance is increasingly essential to maintain the people's trust and confidence in our democracy. Citizens are demanding that their leaders uphold the highest standards of accountability, transparency, and trustworthiness. All the measures that I've outlined for implementation will only be possible if we change the approach to governance that now exists. I'll leave you with the ways, means, quality, and spirit of the change in governance that we commit to. And good governance isn't just a set of ideals. It is the foundation upon which an equitable and just society can be built. The People's National Party has always been committed to fulfilling these ideals, and we will translate these principles into tangible actions that uplift and empower every member of our society. Mr. Mr. Speaker, we are in an increasingly low trust environment. Since the JLP government came to office in 2016, no less than 8 ministers have been forced to resign or have been otherwise sanctioned for a range of serious breaches, and Jamaica continues to rank poorly on international corruption indices. The move in 2020 to take away the chairmanship of most parliamentary committees from the opposition has weakened that mechanism of holding government to account. The maneuvers to delay the tabling of reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission remains a contentious matter, especially since the legal opinion on which this delay is purportedly based has been withheld from parliamentarians and the wider public. When the former Speaker was forced to resign as a result of an Integrity Commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, really does not sit well with the tradition that the Speaker must act independently of the government of the day. The Speaker is intended to be independent and must act independently of the government of the day. That is the tradition. That is the tradition. The failure, Mr. Speaker.
Members.
The failure to identify the so-called illicit 6 MPs.
Your Prime Minister fire you, both sides. Your Prime Minister fire you, both sides. Your Prime Minister fire you. Your Prime Minister fire you, both sides. Both sides.
The failure to disclose the identity of the so-called illicit 6 MPs who are under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment remains.
Member. Both sides. Who can continue?
At this time,
Both sides. The Prime Minister fire you, both sides.
at this time, there is by number I will not continue in this. Some are asking members to be quiet. Thank you. Section 7 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives of Jamaica says the quorum of a House and of a committee of the whole House shall consist of 16 members beside the person presiding. if at any time during a sitting of the House objection is validly taken by any member that there is not a quorum present, the person presiding shall direct members to be summoned, and if at the end of 5 minutes a quorum be not present, he shall adjourn the House without question put. If at any time during a sitting of committee of the House and the House object, and I read section 2, subsection 2 of section 7, and as it stands, I am now summoning members to come on the inside of the chamber, and we will wait for the 5 minutes.
Join the JUTC team at the Halfway Tree Transport Center on March 22 between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Come and sign up for your free Smarter Card and enjoy hassle-free travel. Mark your calendar. March 22, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Halfway Tree Transport Center. They'll have entertainment and giveaways, so see you there. Visit their social media pages at JUTC LTD for more details. JUTC, your route to excellence.
Jamaica Fire Brigade, what's your emergency?
Fire, fire, fire! 6 Piccadilly Drive, Bull Bay.
Okay, we will send a unit right away.
Ma'am, we've received a call that there's a fire at this location.
A fire? But I didn't call it. But the only other person here is Carl? Carl? Did you call the fire station?
Yes, Mommy.
I am very sorry, sir.
Ma'am, we're happy that your house is okay, but we had to dispatch our Half a Tree team to respond to your call, and someone else who really has an emergency may need our help.
Prank calls are no joke and could put lives in danger. Be responsible. End prank calling now. A message brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Yeah. Get your BMI check, your blood pressure check, your blood sugar and cholesterol check. We're living well when we stay on top of our health. Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Know your numbers and take control. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
You can have it all. Company events, birthday parties, or the wedding of your dreams. It's all possible at Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts. We have magnificent event rooms and a dedicated team that will make your event the best experience that only Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts can offer. Contact us at 876-619-0000 or call your favorite travel agency and ask about our promotion designed especially for you.
Jumpstart your fitness goals with Express Fitness. Sign up today and restart your fitness journey at an Express Fitness location near you. Enjoy safe, comfortable, and well-equipped gyms from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Call 554-5180 for a full listing of our open locations. Express Fitness. Express Fitness. Your goal, our mission.
Music a play and the people a rock. Everybody asks for the calico jack. Cups up, make a party. Rum punch send it my way. What you know? Fruit punch mixed with the rum. Link on my friend them know. Hey, sipping on a vibe, yeah we happy. Calico jack and then we started. Music a play and the people a rock. Everybody asks for the calico jack. Cups up, make a party. Rum punch send it my way.
If you are a parliamentarian or a public official listed in the Jamaica Gazette December 5, 2023 regarding the Integrity Commission Act, or a public official receiving emoluments of $12 million or more during the period January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023, you must file your statutory declarations as at December 31, 2023 and any outstanding statutory declarations on or before March 31. Download the updated statutory declarations form from the Integrity Commission's website at integrity.gov.jm/statutory declarations. Ask your Human Resource or Administration Division for further information. A message from the Integrity Commission.
No matter where in this world I go, I am a Jamaican. It's festival time again. Buju Banton entered and won. You could be this year's lucky winner of $3 million in prizes. The Jamaica Festival Song Competition 2024. Enter your song today online at jcdc.gov.jm. Cause I am a Jamaican. I have Jamaican what them.
Seniors, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is advising that the March 2024 payment under the Social Pension Program is now ready for collection. Check.
All right, listeners, at 4:27 p.m. on this Tuesday, March 19, 2024, Nationwide can report that the proceedings in the House of Representatives, where the opposition leader, Mark Golding, was making his contribution to the budget debate in a turn of events that, well, if not unprecedented, certainly very rare, where the government side walks out of the chamber doing the budget presentation of the opposition leader, prompted, of course, by Mr. Golding's comments about the wife of the Prime Minister, Juliet Holness, being elevated to the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, and how untidy, and I'm using euphemistic words, you heard what he said, that angered the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, angered the government side, and they vacated those benches. You heard the Speaker of the House, or the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Heroy Clark, citing Section 7 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, which gives him the power to invite the side that have walked out to re-enter the chamber, because Section 7 of the Standing Orders say that there must be a quorum in the House of at least 16 members, not including the person who's speaking, for the House to be properly sitting. That's the quorum that's required for the House to be properly in session. And given that the opposition only has 14 members in total, Mr. Golding was speaking. Clearly, the math didn't add up. There were less than 16 people plus one that was needed as per the standing orders, beg your pardon. Now, Heroy Clark gave the government members 5 minutes to return, or enough of them for there to be a quorum. When the 5 minutes elapsed, he had no choice, given the standing orders again, but to adjourn the proceedings without question. This is what he said after the 5 minutes elapsed.
This honorable House is now adjourned.
As simple as that. As simple as that. That's all he said, because he did signal to the House before that moment that he was giving the other members 5 minutes to re-establish the quorum that was present in the House from the start of the presentation. So, comments by the opposition leader that the government side found to be inflammatory, angry, the Prime Minister, livid, he walked out, followed by the troop of of government members on the government side. Everald Warmington had choice words, tense exchange between himself and Julian Robinson and other members on the opposition benches. Desmond McKenzie got into it, so too did Delroy Chuck, and they walked out very angry, and they didn't re-enter the chamber, so there was they were short a quorum in the House, and so the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker in this this case, Heroy Clark was duty-bound to call a halt to the proceedings as per the standing orders. We're going to have the issue, again, covered in our newscast at 5, and, of course, during the cover story at 5:30.
IGL Blue. Not take no time to get through. Call it IGL Blue. One call and we will find you. Second turn on the number one. Cylinder done bring over one quick. When Sunday come, this over run slick. Cause a IGL, this over run quick. Choose well, choose IGL. From a quality you are defend me, I tell you. Choose well, choose IGL. Aim for excel. Call it IGL Blue.
Join the JUTC team at the Halfway Tree Transport Centre on March 22 between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Come and sign up for your free Smarter card and enjoy hassle-free travel. Mark your calendar. March 22, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Halfway Tree Transport Centre. They'll have entertainment and giveaways, so see you there. Visit their social media pages at JUTC Ltd for more details. JUTC, your route to excellence.
This Easter, ignite your culinary creativity with the Jamaica Observer Easter Cookbook. Discover tantalizing recipes that will excite your taste buds and elevate your cooking game. From timeless classics to innovative contemporary delights, this cookbook offers something for every palate. Whether you're a seasoned chef or just starting out, the easy-to-follow instructions and stunning illustrations will inspire and guide you to culinary perfection. Mark your calendars and grab your free Easter Cookbook with your purchase of the Jamaica Observer on March 21st.
Call it IGL Blue. Not take no time to get through. Call it IGL Blue. One call and we will find you. Second turn on the number one. Cylinder done bring over one quick. When Sunday come, this over run slick. Cause a IGL, this over run quick. Choose well, choose IGL. From a quality you are defend me, I tell you. Choose well, choose IGL. Aim for excel. Call it IGL Blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a riveting conversation that will have you at the edge of your seat.
Tune into the Sound Off every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. on 90.3